first order of business is we're going to swear in. For the first order of business, we're going to swear in Ms. Dana Schultz. So you come up here. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Dana Schultz,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Board Trustee for the Commack Union Free School District
of Board Trustee for the Commack Union Free School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Okay, I will now, let's see, where are we here, this one. Okay, I will now accept nominations for the office of President of the Board of Education.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Hartman.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. No nomination.
Other further nominations? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nominations are now closed. There being no further nominations, Steve Hartman is declared President of the Board of Education for the 2024-2025 school year. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Steve Hartman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of Board President
of Board President
for the Commack Union Free School District
of the Commack Union Free School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, the President will now resume.
Okay.
I will give this to you.
Thank
You
you.
want to remove?
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much.
All right, whoops.
Okay, this goes here. Okay, go in.
Almost.
Almost. Is yours?
It's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Try.
I hope yours is,
There
there we
you
go.
go. I'll just hold on to mine for a minute.
Okay, hold on to yours.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, Steve, you have
Take it
here.
over.
Okay.
So as the president will now accept nominations for the vice president of the Board of Education. I nominate Dr. Bill Hender.
You don't need a second.
Anyone else? Any further nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Congratulations, Dr. Hender. All right, here we go. Have to move again.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't put this in. I'm just holding on to this tightly.
Okay. I state your name.
I, William Hender,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Board Vice President
of Board Vice President
for the Commack Union Free School District
for the Commack Union Free School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Maybe try taking out trustee and you can keep the,
Maybe.
yeah,
It's
there
like
you
a
go.
lot.
Let's try that. Let's try that. Get creative. There you go. All right. you, Bill.
I'll leave this to you, Joseph.
Slide over.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Alrighty, with that all in place, we're gonna move on to our roll call, with starting from my far left, Mr. Scott Ostrin, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Ms. Laura Newman, Associate Superintendent for Business and Operations, Ms. Dana Schultz, Board Trustee, Mr. Justin Verghese, Board Trustee, Dr. Jordan Cox, Superintendent, myself, Steve Hartman, Board President. To my right, Dr. Bill Hender, Vice President, Ms. Sue Herman, Board Trustee, Mr. Tim Russo, a Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction and Assessment, Mr. Gene Bernowski, District Counsel, Ms. Mara Harvey, District Counsel, and Ms. Debbie Verga, District Clerk. Okay. So, moving on to our next motion, I need a motion to approve the appointments for the 2024-2025 school year.
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Next one is that, can I get a motion to approve the official designations for the 2024-2025 school year? Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Can I get a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. With that, I will turn it over to Dr. Cox for the administrative report.
Sure. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our July 11th reorganization meeting. Tonight we have a couple of items aside from our update on summer programs, our policy updates, and some board business. We have a few slides at the end once we complete the agenda that we save for board business. We are going to start off with our public hearing on the district-wide emergency response plan. Mrs. Newman.
All right, thank you, Dr. Cox. Thank you very much. So this evening, we open up our public hearing regarding the district's district-wide emergency response plan. The purpose of the plan is to document for not only staff, students, and visitors what the district would do in various different types of emergencies. Under this regard, it includes all of our school buildings, including our auxiliary buildings. So those buildings also need to submit a plan to us along with our schools. The authority is the superintendent of schools or his designee. And New York State does require every school district to submit this to the State Education Department annually. One new component of the district-wide emergency response plan is trauma-informed drills for Commack. This has not been an issue. This regards when a district might do one or other type of drill and include different scenarios or props that would make it appear as though there were a true emergency. So for instance, if we were to use a smoke machine at an exit door to simulate that there was an actual fire, that would be considered a prop. The state has come down saying things of that nature cannot be used during your drills because it could make either a student, a staff, or a visitor have a trauma to whatever that drill might be. That is due to the plan this year. For instance, we may do, in the instance of an evacuation drill, someone standing at a typical exit as people try to leave, telling them, sorry, this exit is blocked, you cannot utilize it. They need to find an alternate means of egress. And again, the purpose of these drills are, in the case of an emergency, there is no panic, that people do know what to do know where to go, and should that typical area of egress not be available, that they're not thrown by that and put into a panic. They know, now I'm going to turn around, I'm going to go to that other exit down the hallway. I like to call this kind of the common sense. The last thing that we would want to do and that we wouldn't do is to put a child or a staff member to be nervous about what's happening in a drill. That's not their purpose. So that has been codified by the State Education Department. Tonight is the beginning of our public hearing. What that means is the plan is now open to the public for public content. The plan can be found on our website. That's listed here on the slides. This presentation will be posted on the website for anyone to look at it. Any public comment that someone may have can be emailed to the address also listed there. During the time of July 11th through to the next board meeting, different district officials will continue to review the plan. Should there be any public comment, we will also review those comments as well, with the anticipation that at the next board meeting on August 22nd, the plan would be placed for adoption by the Board of Education. And that concludes the required public hearing. I will turn it back over to Dr. Cox.
Thank you, Mrs. Newman. Actually, Mrs. Newman, we're going to have you stay up there and provide an update on some of the summer work that's taking place across the
Will
district.
do. Ready for me to go? Yep. All right. So always the favorite question that many of us have when we run across people from the public and they find that you work for a school district, the common question is, oh, so you're off this summer. And we say, no, we work 12 months. Followed by but what do you do? So wanted to kind of give the board that there are a slew of staff that continue to work throughout the summer months. When the classroom door closes at the end of June, our work continues. And just to give you some ideas of what is happening with regard to capital projects at our high school, we have many, many things going on. We are keeping not only our maintenance, grounds, and custodial staff very busy, we also have outside vendors coming in. We are in the, as you can see by the pictures, full demolition mode. We have the Bloomberg lab being installed. They have a new lobby being installed. That lobby renovation also includes a change to where our security office will be. So all of that is going on. I'm certain in the August board meeting we will have more pictures that don't just show destruction. At our high school and middle school, both of the gyms are being redone. They're being resanded. We had shown in a previous board meeting what those gyms will look like. And again, in August, we fully expect to show you, if not the fully completed, the almost completed gyms. Right, Mr. Friel? Also, work is being done at the middle school. We have full renovations going on at our main offices, at our guidance areas. HVAC, lighting, ceiling upgrades are all being done. And just to give you more information, at every school building, we also have the HVAC units being done, the demolition. We've done electrical upgrades up to this point. We've put venting has been put in, so all that work is continuing. And then finally, in addition to all of the contractual and capital project work, our maintenance staff is in full bloom and doing not only, as you can see by the hallways, all the desks in the classrooms get pulled out so that we can do the deep cleaning, the stripping, the waxing of floors, etc. Carpentry is occurring. So it is a very busy, busy time for us, so that when we open up our doors in September, everyone will be in shock and awe of all the work that's been done. If there are any questions from the board, I'll turn it over to Dr. Cox.
Questions from the board? It is pretty incredible that immediately following the last day of school, how the districts go into either demo mode or cleaning mode. You can see some of these pictures. In the last day of school, every single desk is moved out into the hallway, and I got to give a tremendous amount of credit to our maintenance and custodial crew for what they accomplish over the course of the summer. Considering at the same time we're running summer camps and other things are taking place in the building, they find other opportunities for employees and staff to enter, and they kind of work around it. But in the end, you know, the buildings, we'll do a walkthrough with the Board of Education towards the end of August to see some of the work, and it is pretty amazing the work that they do over the course of the summer. So thank you, Mrs. Newman. So without any questions, we're going to move on to the next portion of our administrative report, and I'm going to ask Dr. Inforna to talk to us a little bit about some of our policy updates that the board will be readopting this evening.
Yep, that's right, Dr. Cox. Thank you. We are asking the board tonight to readopt the same policies, which we do every July. Our BOCES policy services team, as well as our legal team, assure us that these are the policies that require readoption annually, so we can ensure that we remain current and compliant with our board policy book. So you can see off to the left, there are a list of a number of policies. Those policies have no revisions from their current version. So as the board adopted them last year, we are asking that the same language be adopted this year, and that language has been vetted by, again, legal, BOCES policy services, and reviewed by our administrators to make sure that they are compliant and current. So to share, they're up there without revisions. I do just want to again point out that we have a policy review process that is mapped out to the right there and involves any number of people, just to reassure the fact that we have a number of people looking at these before we present them to the board, so that the board may consider them tonight. So with that said, I'll turn it back to Dr. Cox for any questions that they may have.
So before we get to any questions regarding these particular policy updates, these updates, as Dr. Inforna had mentioned, have been previously adopted by the board. There have been 0 changes made to these policies, and they're up for readoption. We will have other policies that will be up for readoption at the August board meeting, and those ones do have some minor changes to them. So we did not put them in tonight's board presentation because we want to make sure that the board has ample time to read and take a look at those changes. And then in August at the board meeting, Dr. Inforna will highlight those policy updates, the changes that have taken place, and then the board will have a chance to either discuss them and they will take action that evening. And if there are no questions from the board, we're going to leave this slide on for board business, and then we're going to move to our regular agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Cox. So moving on back to our board meeting itself, Dr. Hender has the opportunity now to read the Board of Education meeting statement, which I'm sure he's thrilled about.
I am. I queued it up right here in large font. So, our board meeting has 2 opportunities for public comment. One where the public can comment on specific agenda items only, and one at the end of the meeting where the public can comment on other school district matters. Please take a white card if you have a question on specific agenda items, and a green card if you have comments during public participation on other school matters. Comments must be no longer than 3 minutes. The district clerk will call each person up by a number. We are monitoring the time and will let speakers know when their time is completed. When called up to the microphone, please state your name and whether you are a district resident. Please only speak to the board directly. The board appreciates the community's feedback. These commentary periods are not times for public debate or for answering specific questions where a direct answer cannot be provided. We will make a note of any questions where the answer is not known and provide a response as soon as possible to the person asking the question. Public comment does not allow for positive or negative statements about a specific employee as it relates to his or her job performance. Any matters related to specific students will not be discussed. The president shall terminate the right of any speaker if they are overly lengthy, repetitive, disruptive, disrespectful to anyone, and/or offensive, as well as if the public becomes unruly and lacks respect for others. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Verga, go ahead.
Anyone who likes to make a statement, the white cards are on the back table. Those are for agenda items only. So if anyone does, number 1.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Verga. Turning back to our agenda, I need a motion, the resolution to accept the donations as listed. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion.
Could I get a second? Any discussion? Again, on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank all these donations from all the different groups out there, from the PTA and Christ the King and the teachers chapter. Really thank you for that, all these donations. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. I'm going to acknowledge the correspondence as listed on the board agenda. And could I get a motion to approve the minutes from the June 6th, 2024 Board of Education meeting? Motion. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Can I get a motion to approve the personnel agenda?
Motion.
Can I get a second? Any discussion? In the audience today, we have two people who are listed here for their appointments this year. We have Augie and Alyssa, who are in the audience here today. Congratulations. Welcome to the Commack School District. Thank you for coming out tonight, and surely enjoy the rest of your summer, even if you're not working, but hit the ground running in September, in August, probably sooner than you think. So welcome here. Great. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Could I get a motion to approve consent agenda items as presented or amended 2 through 14? Motion, please.
Motion.
Can I get a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. There's no consent agenda legal. Moving on to the items removed from consent agenda, item N1. Be resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approved the first policy, the first reading of policy 4211, reorganizational structure, policy 52220, district investments, policy 5410, purchasing, competitive bids and offering, policy 5411, procurement of goods and services, policy 5412, alternative formats for instructional matters, policy 5640, smoking, tobacco, cannabis, parentheses, marijuana use, policy 5661, wellness, policy 7132, non-resident students, policy 8260, parent and family involvement. Be it further resolved that upon the second reading and moves to adopt these policies tonight. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
May I get a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Okay, this is a little heavy-hearted part of the agenda tonight. So, as noted during the last meeting, Mr. Verghese did tender his resignation. So, as part of this, we are unfortunately accepting his resignation letter. His effective last date here on the board will be July the 31st, 2024. So, this is his last meeting here in person. So, we do have a little token of our appreciation for Mr. Verghese that, so certainly Ms. Verg and I said we had to get working on this pretty quickly.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
You
Should I open it? I
You
don't
should
know.
open it. Absolutely open it. This is like Christmas in July.
Yeah.
It's Christmas in July. There you go. So, as people know, and again, his family is here in the audience, Mr. Verghese is certainly one of the most honorable people I've ever met in my whole life. Certainly someone who goes above and beyond to really treat everybody just as a friend, compatriot. I mean, his recognition in the Multicultural Committee really stands above everything else. It's just really, he's been a pleasure to work with over the past 5 years. I was grateful for the past 2 years for him to be the board president and take over such a great mantle and work again with Dr. Cox and the rest of the team here. And certainly he will be missed in his new adventures in Tennessee. It's going to be different for you. It's going to be different for us too as well. So certainly, I mean, as a, you're a great asset to this district itself, and really sad to see you go, but I know there's new adventures and chapters in your life which you're going to tackle.
Well, thank you so much. This is amazing. Thank you for this. This really, I'm going to keep this. No.
You haven't heard we accepted it yet. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that someone on this board can take over the mantle of working on. I mean, certainly having a board representing the Multicultural Committee, which Justin really started with all his heart and mind, and really put a lot of effort into getting where it is a testament of who he is and what he stands for in that committee. Will definitely last as a testament to you, and we do appreciate all you've done over the past 5 years.
It really means so much to me. I can't tell you, first what an honor it's been serving on this board, serving the community in this way, working with the amazing administrators and faculty and staff here at Commack. Commack's been home for my family and I for almost 20 years. My kids were born here, and Commack will always, always, always have a really special place in my heart, in the heart of our family. And I really consider having served the community with you all on the board to have been really just a privilege of a lifetime. So I'm really, really grateful for that. And the things that I've learned here, I will be taking with me everywhere I go in this next adventure that we have. So yes, thank you all so much.
You're welcome. Keep posting online.
Yeah.
See the adventure.
Just quickly, as Mr. Hartman had pointed out, your family is in the back. And Sherry, as much as I thank Justin, I also thank you and the boys for allowing Justin to be part of our board, because when you are part of the board, your whole family is really part of the board. And those late nights, coming home as a volunteer that Justin has done for the past 5 years and being so supportive, we're going to miss all of you. So thank you for all that you've done as well, and best of luck throughout.
You don't have to rush for any more basketball games. That's the new thing.
Right, that's right.
He always was good at that. He's like, I have to go to catch a basketball. Like, we're done. I'm gone.
Coaching a game, not
Exactly.
watching.
Not watching, coaching. Your other winning volunteer positions in life.
That's
So with that, say be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education hereby accepts the attached right of resignation from Mr. Justin Verghese effective July 31st, 2024. Could I get a motion? See, there's silence. Complete silence. Come on, Sue, you have to do it.
Even if you do not agree.
Exactly. Could I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Continuing on with our board business, we have acknowledging the statement of professional services from Bond, Shonik and King for the month ending May 31st, 2024, to accept receipt of the Committee on Special Education dates as listed, and acknowledge receipt of the Committee on Preschool Special Education dates as listed, and also to acknowledge the receipt of the May 2024 financial reports as listed below, to also acknowledge receipt of the Internal Claims Auditor's monthly update, and acknowledge receipt of the federal and state grants received for the 2023-2024 school year. The Board of Education of the Union Free School District shall hold its regular meeting on Thursday, August 22nd, 2024, at 6 p.m. at the Hubs Administration Building, 480 Clay Pitts Road, East Northport, New York. It is anticipated that the board will make the motion for the purposes of adjourning into executive session at this time, and at 7 p.m. the board will reconvene in public session for the purpose of holding its regular business meeting. So before we get into public participation, as noted before, with his last day upon us right now as this board trustee, we mentioned before, legal has advised us, and again, what the decision, again, this is a board discussion, and thank you, Elise, for putting together some really fancy slides. I couldn't have done this. She always impresses me, by the way. She's really, I think she has to give me some lessons on this. So we have 3 options to fill Mr. Verghese's seat. The first one is to fill the vacancy by appointment of this board, right? The second one is that we as a board can call for a special election. Or the third option, as presented, is to leave the seat. This position will be on the ballot on May 2025 for the term on May 20, 2025 through June 30th of 2028. So just for the board and for the public, again, it's always good to kind of refresh people. People say, well, what does the board do? What's the responsibilities? We went through this before, probably about 5 years ago, about this same period of time. So we thought it was a good opportunity, again, to kind of refresh everybody regarding the school board members' roles and responsibilities. So again, what is a school board? A school board is a corporate body that oversees the public district affairs and personnel and properties. Again, thank you to some of this information did come from NSBA, the National State School Board Association. So as you can see, there's 2 different areas in there. So there's the area on top which the Board of Education really deals with. It goes to, we just did some of this before, adopting policy. That was part of our meeting here before. Monitoring fiscal health. We are acknowledging receipt of some of all the items in our agendas. So in August, we'll be talking about our vision and goals with the superintendent, right? And measuring those results, right, with the superintendent. As you can see at the bottom of this, the superintendent, Dr. Cox himself, he's involved in all the day-to-day operations. He's recommending and advising the school board on there. He's working on everything from fiscal management, evaluating the processes, and working with his team to give that information to the board, which he does on a daily basis and presents it to the public during the board meetings itself. So a school board has 4 main roles, which is representation, meaning we represent you, the community itself. We are leaders of the community, basically by adoption. We advocate on behalf of education, and we are fiscal stewards. So that's a big part of what a school board member does, is this fiscal responsibility. We're not in there doing educational workshops or curriculum. That's really all in Dr. Cox at his realm itself. These are our 4 pillars of being a school board member: representatives, leaders, advocates for education, and being fiscal stewards. So our three areas that we really focus in on, again, hiring and evaluating the superintendent, which we do on an annual basis, of evaluating the superintendent. We, in May, basically propose the annual budget, which the voters vote on, and we are policy makers itself. As you can see, we just did that at this meeting here today, and we consistently do it as part of all of our board meetings. So as a board member, you're an elected official, but you have no inherent power by reason of holding this office, right? So something to know is that, this is a non-paying, basically our power comes from the 5 of us all together. No individual board member has power over one another. It's the collective group of the board itself. That's really important. So it's our collective authority, again, is limited as part of our board meetings itself and having a quorum of at least 3 people as part of this board. So again, this is a good part to represent, and people come to us, this is great, and mention this to Ms. Schultz, who gets this probably all the time, and I used to get it as well, as part of being on the soccer fields, the school fields, in the class, seeing something out of something happens. It's following this chain of command is really important. If there's an issue, we basically point people back to this chain of command, which is basically you should bring yourself as a parent complaint to your teacher, your administrator, to the superintendent, and then it goes to the board. So that's the chain of command. We've posted on that website, but it's really key people to know if they say, hey, you didn't know X, Y, Z, well, we're not supposed to know X, Y, Z that's going on in the district. It's really important that we follow and respect this chain of command that goes on as part of being a board member itself. And again, internal chain of command, very similar, right? So the staff has an issue, they bring it up to the supervisor, it goes to an administrator, then it goes to the superintendent, and then eventually comes to the Board of Education. And that's the process that we follow as part of being a board. Last, as board president, it is the role of the board president to conduct and maintain order of the meetings, which the person does. Again, he or she has no additional power, just the added responsibilities of running the meetings, right? They set the agenda with the superintendent and the district clerk themselves. They're the team builder and mediator, having discussions between the board and the superintendent, and collectively the voice of the board to the media, which I don't do. But again, it's out there. We work with the superintendent and his team himself. Again, people may ask about this, and you can see this happen with, Dr. Hender and his public comments, that the meeting in public is not a public meeting. We follow parliamentary rules. It's an open meetings law, but again, it's that public commentary period that we have, that the transactions and discussions with the public happen, and really we're carrying out what's called board business. You can see we're hiring people, we're going through policies and having that general discussion as part of our school board meetings, and that's what a school board member is doing on a day in and day out basis. And there is required people to know school board members are required to do a required period of training, both on fiscal responsibility and the general principles of being a school board member as part of that onboarding. One of the last things I want to discuss is that, as we mentioned in our agenda, what the board basically does is that we have an executive session typically right before every board meeting itself, right? So we have a majority vote to enter into that executive session itself. There are certain things that you will see that we are limited about our discussions. It's not open to the public, and it's a lot of confidential information regarding negotiations and other personal matters which would not be appropriate to discuss as part of a public comment itself. Superintendent, Dr. Cox, and he's basically, you think of the superintendent as the CEO running a business, and he is running the business and operations of our district, right? He manages the day-to-day operation. He's the one enforcing the laws, the rules, the regulations. He's managing the resources here in the school district itself. He's the one who looks at the board policies and then is doing the implementation of those board policies itself. He's advising us as the board as things that are going on educational matters, and he is the communicator for the district outward. So with that, what I wanted to do is take this opportunity to basically open up for the board itself to have this discussion. So going back, let's go, excuse the flashing. There you go. So want to have this back to this option. So as you know, right here in this July meeting, this is Mr. Verghese' last meeting, but I did want to take this opportunity to let people have some expression of what are they thinking about? Again, we are basically, this is a discussion of where are people leaning towards in some of these three options, right, of going forward. And I did discuss this with the people that this was going to be on the agenda for tonight, so this is a matter that people were aware of. It's an opportunity for people, not required, to basically give some feedback on how they want to fill this seat going forward. So as the board president, I don't mind going forth, and I've let people know about my thoughts about this being on the board. This is year 12. Seems like it was just yesterday, but it is 12 years being in this volunteer position itself. So really, at this point, again, at this period of time, really, my vision and thought is that I would like to fill the appointment of the seat, right? And there's some basic general reasons that I think in this, is that having 5 people on the board with such a small board really helps out kind of maintain stability. And with Ms. Schultz on the board as a new board member, having another board member would be a good opportunity. So, because that person that does take that seat will need to run again in May. So that's the opportunity for someone to say, hey, as that person who wants to take this seat, they can get the idea of what it's like to be a board member, of which I described before. Certainly another thing is that opportunity for people to also in the public to get to know the person, right? It's not what's posted on social media. They can see how that person expresses themselves and acts in public. Give the opportunity, certainly looking for someone that has a fresh voice. That's something that I kind of emphasize as well. I'm really looking for a person that sees the role of a board member and kind of says, okay, this is something I want to do, that I'm passionate to do. Same with Mr. Verghese. This is something I'm driven to do. This is that person that understands what's the role of a board member, how they're going to help out this district to keep going forward and keep building the district going forward. So again, this is not the election or selection of the person. This is just my idea of expressing to the board itself the idea of my idea is to look closely at selection number 1, which is filling that appointment of Mr. Verghese' seat. So with that, I will pause and let other board members weigh in if they have any opinions on this matter.
I agree with you. I mean, I think we should fill the position. I think, having a special election is going to cost money, and I really don't want to do that. So, I think that's a good idea.
A few things. One, I agree, having a special election to fill the vacancy does, essentially cost taxpayer money. We have to run an election, we have to ballots, the whole bit, which is a cost for really a short period of time. If we were looking at a longer period of time, maybe I'd feel a little different there. But while I am not opposed to filling the position, I'm also not opposed to being a 4-member board, in the sense that there is a little past precedent or past practice of that. We did do that previously when we had other board members resign through the years. So for me, I'm not opposed to either filling the position or going on a 4-person board. I do have a question for legal, and my question would be, is there a required period of time where we would have to fill the position, or is there a trial period, so to speak, in terms of if we weren't going in the right direction and we wanted to then appoint someone, we could, or does it have to be decided upon?
Although I'm sure everyone can hear me, but
The only time period has to do with the special election. A special election would have to be done within 90 days. There is not a specific time period that we do need to appoint by.
So I guess my next question would be then, and I'll let everyone else speak, would be if we were to look at an appointment, what would be the process that we might look to follow in terms of garnering any interest in such? But nope, that'll be the question afterwards, after everyone chimes in.
Is this on?
Yes.
Okay. So I am not for a special election for obvious reasons of the costs and for such a short period of time. I would like to see how it went leaving the seat open. But again, I'm open to discussion.
Has my mic been unplugged already?
Nope, you're still here. You're still here.
Okay.
Remember.
Okay. I will say this. So, especially having served as president for a couple of years, part of the president's job being to kind of help the team collaborate. I found that 5 very unique, meaningful voices on the board is really valuable and really important. The types of things that come across the board's desk, collective desk, are not easy to navigate. They're not easy things to figure out. And I've noticed that with the board that we've had over the years that I've been here, 5.5 years, that there's been unique opinions that come from different board members at every turn. And what I have found is it's always the collaboration of those ideas that come up with, I think, the best possible solution. So for that reason, especially because we are a small board, I feel like 5 voices is really important if it's something that is doable, that seems appropriate for the future. The other thing that I would say is, to any extent possible, I think that we need it's helpful in getting these different voices to have a broad range of different types of community members that are in different stages of life and different stages of time in the community, different maybe children in or not in the district. So I know we have a couple of board members whose kids have been through the district and now they're kind of in a different phase of life. Those voices are incredibly meaningful. And I think that it is also meaningful to have a few or several seats on the board that have board members who have children in the district, particularly at different levels in the district. And we've had the benefit of that before. We've had elementary kids and middle school kids and high school kids of board members all at once. And I think when you have that plus a couple of board members who have had kids go from start to finish and are now on kind of the other side of that, that is kind of the sweet spot of getting a variety of really meaningful opinions. So to any extent possible, to be able to get to fill the seat in a way that brings you the voice of another parent who loves and is invested in the district, understands the job, if it's possible, I think would be a win. That's my opinion. So.
I think we'll turn back to Dr. Hender's question. So certainly this recording basically it's kind of opening up the discussion, right, to the public to let them know that certainly we are interested in possibly filling this vacancy seat. So if people are interested, basically reaching out through the district clerk is probably a way to go ahead and basically invite someone to basically kind of have that conversation to say that they're interested in being on the board itself. So that's kind of my thought. Does that sound reasonable, Dr. Hendo?
Sorry, I turned my mic. Yes, absolutely. I don't want to, say that, one way or the other. I think you brought up some really good points. My question would be then, after people expressed interest, is there an opportunity, or would there be an opportunity to have discussions with them? How does that? Is there any legality in that process? I'm only familiar with when we didn't fill it, so that's.
So there is nothing in the law that specific says you have to do this step, and that step. So traditionally, what I've seen is people have kind of posted, anyone who's interest to let the district clerk, let the board president, let the superintendent, whoever it was. Then traditionally, there would have an opportunity to speak with those people. That would be done in executive session because it would not be appropriate. That is, one of the things that would be able to be done in executive session. Then when you're making the determination of who the person is, that would be done in public. So it would be a motion to fill the seat. That would be done in public.
Okay.
So yes, you would be able to speak with the person, kind of interview them to see who you think would be the best fit or fits what the board is looking for.
Submit their qualifications, resume.
I think that makes the most sense, especially the part of it being executive session, right? Because it allows us the opportunity to keep the person's anonymity kind of closed and, doesn't disclose to the public again, and lets us kind of get to know the person, at least through an interview process, their capabilities and understanding. So I think the action would be, if the board is okay, just to start to, we're opening up to the public, kind of, Dr. Cox, you with Ms. Verga come out with some kind of process they think would work, and we as a board need to probably set some dates up that would work to talk to some potential candidates if the board is aligned with that. And there's no decision to appoint somebody. We're just going through the process. We may not find the person that we want to do, and we'll be back at the option 3, which is basically to leave the seat open. But I think like Mr. Verga said, I think it's the opportunity for us to, do something at that period of time, because even if we don't appoint somebody, that seat is open in May, and that person would probably be running anyway, right? So at least this is somebody the board would get to know and understand.
And
Go ahead.
if they're interested in staying on, they would have to run. There's no requirement that they would have to run.
Correct.
For next year. So they could be appointed. They could say, oh, what did I get myself into? I never want to do this again, and not put in a petition.
We promise Ms. Newman won't scare them too much. Especially when it gets into March.
Our favorite time of year.
It's not March yet. There you go.
No, I agree. I think that's a compromise where we're not locking ourselves into one certain decision, and allows us to explore and be responsible in our decision-making process. So,
We would want to start the process because, again, September will be rolling around. So certainly just working with the board, getting some dates, expressing that opportunity, and just getting the process going. Certainly they would want to be as part of the team, certainly sometime as the school is opening and thereafter. Great. Thank you, everyone. I know it's a different things we haven't done in a while, having this kind of different board discussions. So I think it was worthwhile for the community and everyone to have these discussions. So with that, Ms. Verga, I'm going to stop presenting, and I'm going to turn it over to you for public comment.
Okay, let me get a microphone. So the green cards are for public comment. If anyone would like to make a comment to the board, the green card, I will take number 1. Anyone would like to make a comment?
Okay. Since there are no public comments, can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion.
Can I get a second? Exactly. Waiting for that. He's waiting for that, Joe. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight, and we'll see you in August.
thank you.